What's going on, traders? In this video, I'll be breaking down how to take confirmation trades on day trading timeframes, just like this trade right here. I'll be breaking that down in the future. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. And if you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos. So the first things first, for day trading confirmation entries, the first thing you need to do is decide which time frame you want to enter on. There are two time frames, in my opinion, that are day trading time frames. The first one being the 1 minute time frame, the second one being the 5 minute time frame. And it's very important with supply and demand that you use a higher time frame along with the time frame that you enter on. So for example, if you want to day trade the 1 minute time frame, you will be using the 50-minute time frame as your higher time frame. And for 5 minute entries, your higher time frame will be the 1 hour time frame. Now the system does not change depending on what time frame you're using. So for all of the examples I will be showing you, we'll be using the 1 minute time frame with the 15-minute higher time frame. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions at all about time frames, please leave a comment down below. So the next thing we need to do is decide which session will we be trading. I don't really personally day trade, but if I was, based on my schedule and where I'm located in the world in Canada, I would most likely be day trading the New York session, which is from 8 a.m. to about 3 p.m. Eastern time. And if you are from Europe, you could probably be day trading the London session and as well as the New York session. There are people who live in certain parts of the world where you could be day trading both the New York and the London session, which is definitely beneficial for a lot of traders. Now, I know that these times are a little bit different. The reason that I say the New York session only goes till 3 p.m. is because after 4 p.m., you start to see these spreads start to increase. And then at that point, it's a little bit risky to get involved in a trade because let's say you bought down here, but then it's close to 5 p.m. when the spreads start to get larger, then at that point, you could be stopped out of your trade as it's starting to work out based on just the spread increasing. So that's why I only really recommend entering at least until 3 p.m. And then after that, I would just stay away. So now that we have our time frames and our session we'll be trading, now it's time to look at the charts. And the first example I will be showing you guys is on USDCHF, the Swiss franc. Let me just reset this chart here. So if you come over here, you can clearly see, let me go to a 15-minute chart first. 15-minute. So like I said at the beginning of the video, we have our higher time frame and then our entry time frame. So for this, we'll be entering on a 1 minute time frame. So the first thing you need to do if you want to enter on a 1 minute time frame is we need to find 15-minute higher time frame supply zones or demand zones. So in this example here, I found this 15-minute supply zone. Now this is all done after the fact. I'm just showing you guys an example. So the first thing you need to do if you want to trade the 1 minute time frame, find your 15-minute higher time frame supply or demand zones. And if you need help finding these higher time frame demand zones, feel free to check out the Tier 1 Patreon YouTube membership, where for only $5 cap per month, you can get all of my higher time frame zones like this, where you can use to trade them to potentially get in some decent looking trades. So hopefully that makes sense, and links in the description down below to that. So with that being said, we look at our 15-minute time frame zone, and what we do is we simply wait for this zone to be hit. So let's say price was trending up, price is down here. We mark out our 15-minute supply zone right here, or you obviously just use the one that I have on my chart for the members, and we wait for this to be hit. You can set an alert before the zone to alert yourself when that zone is being hit. The next step is what we do is we go down to a 1 minute time frame because that is our entry time frame. And what you do is you can either go down to this time frame and wait for the zone to be hit, or you could just wait for it to be hit and then go down to the time frame later. So in this example here, we have what I like to call a perfect situation setup, where we have an upward trend line pulling into our higher time frame supply zone. We have an upward trend line and we have demand zones along the way. For confirmation, what we need to see, the best confirmation is for this trend line to be removed and for this demand zone to be removed, which has left us with this supply zone. Now, for confirmation trading, there are two types of confirmation. The first one is, let's say this is our higher time frame demand zone. Price is trending down into here, and then we start to look on a lower time frame for confirmation to the upside so we can catch a trade to the upside like that. What we need to see, opposing supply zones be removed. So pretend that these pink zones are supply zones. What we need to wait for is for these zones to be removed, looking like this. So once we have a zone removed like that, or this zone removed like that, any demand zone that's down below, that would be the zone we look to get involved in. That is your confirmation. That is one way of looking for confirmation for supply zones or opposing zones to be removed on your entry time frame. The second one is like this. Let's say price is trending down into our higher time frame, and then we have what I like to call a downward trend line like this with price, and then let's say price starts to push up. We break the trend line and opposing supply zones like this. Well, whatever demand zone is responsible for removing the downward trend line and the opposing supply zone, that would be your confirmation zone, and you would simply enter like that. So that's not, now that I explained that to you, let's look at a few examples. And this example here is the perfect situation where we had both, where we had, like I just mentioned, an upward trend line like this and a opposing demand zone to be removed. Now, in this situation, we were left with this beautiful looking 1 minute confirmation supply zone. Now, in this example, price never really pulled back to it. We never got the pullback, and that's just, I just wanted to show you guys that this is the reality of confirmation trading. Is sometimes we get a perfect situation where price reacted off of our higher time frame, we removed an upward trend line and opposing demand, but we could never really get that pullback for the trade to work out. I just wanted to show you guys that, where this is the reality of confirmation trading. Sometimes it doesn't work out where we don't get the pullback, but this is a great example. This would have been a fantastic area to potentially take a short trade with confirmation coming off of our higher time frame supply zone. So hopefully that makes sense with this example. This is personally my favorite type of confirmation, where we have both a trend line and opposing demand zones being removed. Now that is the USD Swiss franc. Now if we go over to the Aussie yen, give me 1 second, we can find another example, and this is for demand. So if we go to the 15-minute chart first, obviously if we are entering, we are looking for 15-minute demand zones, and look at that, we have one right here. So we would have marked this demand zone right around there, and this demand zone actually removed a flip zone over here because it's very important that the demand zones that we trade they must remove opposing zones on all time frames. So hopefully that makes sense. So first of all, we find our 15-minute higher time frame demand zone, and then we wait for price to come and hit it. And then when price contacts that 15-minute demand zone, that is when we hop down to our 1 minute time frame. So now that we are on our 1 minute time frame, here's what we are waiting for. So as you can see, we had a 1 minute demand zone right here, which was removed by this supply zone. And if we come over to, we zoom in on the charts here, you can clearly see we didn't really have a downward trend line. There is a downward momentum line here, but I'm just not really a fan of that. So for this example, what I'm showing you is just the example of when a supply zone is removed. So here we are waiting for confirmation. We had confirmation that price is hitting our 50-minute higher time frame demand zone. So now we are on the 1 minute chart looking for longs. And what we need to see for longs is this supply zone being removed. And what I love about this specific potential trade setup here is that not only do we have a supply zone here, is we reacted off the supply zone, and we reacted off of it perfectly, and which shows to me that there is supply in this area, most likely created by the large banks or institutions. It's pretty hard to tell, but in my opinion, this was a perfect supply zone to be removed. I love to see supply zones removed for confirmation, especially when we get a reaction off of it like that. And so then we have to ask ourselves, which zone was responsible for removing this zone? And to me, it's this one right here. And as you can see, we reacted perfectly off of it like that. So I know that this is all after the fact, but I just wanted to show you guys this example. So what we would do is we would wait for this supply zone to be removed. We could set an alert above here, and then let's say we come to the charts, we say, okay, perfect, we got the confirmation on the 1 minute chart. Then we simply find the zone that was responsible for removing it, and we would enter a little bit before the zone with a stop loss, a little bit below the zone, and then, you know, with your take profits at least at the high, or 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 take profit away. That part you will have to back test yourself, but at least 2-to-1 is what I would be personally looking for. So this is a perfect example where price pulled back, it tested the zone a bit, maybe a few more times, and then price eventually ended up shooting off. So hopefully all this is starting to make sense, where we are simply waiting for a higher time frame demand to be hit, which is this green box, waiting for opposing zones to be removed, and then waiting for the pullback to the zone that was responsible for removing the opposing zone. Now in this example, it's not as good as if there was a downward, trend line removed as well, where we have both supply zones and the downward trend line removed, but there's nothing wrong with this trade setup as well. I just simply prefer the example where where opposing zones and a trend line is removed as well. Now a few things to note here is, first of all, there's odds enhancers in my opinion. And the number one odds enhancer for just higher quality trades is for when your higher time frame is trending. So in this example here, that is not the case, where price is clearly sideways right now. For trend, we are looking for clear uptrends like that. Very, very clear and obvious uptrends. And we don't really have that. What we have here at this point is a very clear downtrend. So any trades along with that downtrend would be higher odds. But for this example here, we did not have that. So this wouldn't be a super, super high odds situation, but I just wanted to show you guys that the great odds enhancer for your trades is for when your higher time frame is trending. Now, the second odds enhancer for this type of setup is when price is inside a higher time frame plus one zone. So in this example, for the 15-minute chart as your higher time frame, the higher time frame for the 50-minute chart equals the 4-hour chart. So that is what your higher time frame, I know my drawing isn't great, plus 1 is. So for a 50-minute chart, your higher time frame plus 1 would be the 4-hour chart. And then for your 5-minute entries, where the 1 hour is your higher time frame, the higher time frame plus 1 would be the daily chart. So what I'm trying to get at here is this. Let's say, let me just get on my tool. Let's say this 15-minute demand zone was inside a 4-hour demand zone. This would be a perfect situation where we are getting a higher odds situation, because not only is price pulling into your higher time frame demand zone on the 15-minute chart like this, but it's also inside of a 4-hour demand zone. So that would be an example of a higher odds situation. Now for the for the 5-minute entries, let's say this was a 1-hour time frame right here, where this is your 1-hour demand zone, and then price pulls into the 1-hour demand, and you're looking on the 5-minute chart for longs. Well, let's pretend that this 1-hour demand zone is also inside of a daily demand zone. That is an example of a higher odds situation. Now, obviously, if price is trending up and it's inside your higher time frame and your higher time frame plus 1 demand zone, then it's an even higher odds situation. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions about that at all, please feel free to comment down below, and I will definitely help you out with some answers. So one more thing. These are only two ways to look for confirmation, where we have the opposing demand zones being removed, like this, waiting for pullbacks to the zones that remove that zone, or the downward trend line being removed, or both. Now, there are a few other types of way to trade confirmation. Another way is basically just entering as a supply zone is being removed with a stop loss below, but that is in more detail in the Tier 2 Level 2 YouTube Patreon membership, where I have full videos breaking down exactly that way of trading confirmation. So unfortunately, I can't talk about this in this free video, but hopefully you guys can check that out. Be happy to see you guys join the team. There's a lot of other things involved with Level 2 as well as private Discord group, custom analysis, private live streams every Sunday, as well as those confirmation trading videos. So in this free video, just wanted to show you guys the most common ways to trade confirmation. And remember, it's always best to have a downward trend line and opposing supply zones removed first before we take the confirmation trade. But there's nothing wrong with just waiting for supply zones to be taken out. And as I said, I have more videos about confirmation in the Tier 2 Level 2 Patreon YouTube membership. So that pretty much sums it up for this video. I don't think I'm really missing anything else. If I am, don't hesitate to ask or leave a comment. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.